way, I can't even stand how cute that is. Deceased. Absolutely deceased. I can't. Anyways, hi, hello, happy Winterweed! Happy Winterweed! I'm like being kind of quiet because she's snoozing and like I don't want to wake her up. But happy Winterweed. You guys, it's snowing. Oh. Okay, exactly. It's snowing. On the second day of Winterweed, it's snowing. I'm so excited. It's not sticking. It just looks like fake snow, essentially, because the flakes are gigantic. I don't care. It's snowing. It's really setting the mood. And like, it's perfect. I'm so excited. I have not participated in a readathon in a long time. I feel like it is very overdue. I need it. I want to be amongst my bookish friends online and sit and read some good thrillers / horror. I have a whole stack of books that I could potentially read for the week. Technically, Winterweed started yesterday, and I did read some last night. I actually started Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier, which I am so stoked about. This is a backlist, and I've heard that this is like so many people's favorites of her. I've read a few others from her, and I've liked some and not liked some, but I'm stoked to get to this one. So I'll talk about that, like give you my book update on reading probably later once I get more into it, because right now I'm only 50 pages into it. So that's all I got done last night. That is one of them. I want to get to my backlist first. I also started re-listening to Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I have read it before, but I saw that Gabby was picked it as a booktube pick. I can't remember if it's this month or next month that it's actually a pick. But it's a pick, and I was like, oh, this would be the perfect time to like listen to it while I'm out on my mentee bee walks, which is what I call them instead of hot girl walks. They are mentee bee walks. They're preventing the mentee bees, the mental breakdowns. That's what we call them. Actually a little bit warmer. We've been dealing with like 0 degrees and like 30-mile-an-hour winds for the past week, so I have felt very confined recently, but it's finally, we're having like a heat wave at 30 degrees and it feels great. It feels like a heat wave. So I'm actually able to like go out and go on my walks again. I do have a walking pad, but I don't like listening to books while I'm on the walking pad. There's just something about it that does not compute with me on the, like, I don't know, something about walking inside with an audiobook. It just doesn't like jive the same. I'd rather be watching a show or watching a movie or something like that instead of listening to a book. But when I'm out on walks, out in the wilderness, I like to listen to audiobooks. Look, there's no rhyme or reason to what happens up here. It makes sense in my brain, and that's really all that matters. Anyways, I started re-listening to that because when I read it before, this was like years and years and years ago, I gave it 3 stars. And I feel like maybe that wasn't fair. I feel like I was a lot harsher of a book reviewer back then, especially when it comes to thrillers. And when I tell you I started this last night, I've only gotten like 45 minutes into the audiobook or so. It's like I've never read it before. I do not remember a single thing about this book. Not at all. I did not remember the main character. I didn't remember what happened. There's things that are happening and I'm like, it's like I'm reading it for the first time. So I love that for me. So that's what I'm going to be listening to this week because the audiobook is so long. It's ridiculous. It's like 17 hours long. I don't know what is happening there, but I'm sure that will take me between all of my WALKs, which I'm spelling out because that one's on the couch. Between all of them, I should be able to get through that. Anyways, the rest of my TBR, let's talk about it. I also have Near the Bone by Christina Henry that I checked out from the library. I think this will be my next one after Jar of Hearts because, like I said, I really want to get to the backlists, and I've heard this is incredible. One, because of the wintertime setting, which is exactly what I want to be reading during Winterweed. Like, that makes sense, right? But I've heard this is also like an isolation story, I believe. A woman trapped on a mountain attempts to survive more than one kind of a monster in a dread-inducing horror novel. Love that. And also, I haven't read like a horror in a long time. Is this more horror? Is it more thriller? I'm not really sure. We're gonna find out. But I've heard such good things about this, and as soon as I posted that this is what I was thinking of, I had a few friends reach out that are also like in the bookish world, and were like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see what you think of that. So I think this will be my next one after Jar of Hearts. Then I also have Razorblade Tears, but I don't know if this is the vibe I want to go for this week. I feel like I really want to go more towards like, this is gonna sound bad, but like popcorn horror and thriller, not necessarily like deep cut in the feels thriller, you know, because I've heard this is a very emotional book, which I'm here for at the right time and place. And I don't know if Winterween is the time or the place for this, but I do have it on my shelf in case I change my mind. And then for newer releases, I have Beautiful Ugly, which I think is going to be like a for sure, because this one has the house on the cover. The most minuscule little house, but it counts, okay? So we have a house on the cover. Is there a house on the cover? Oh, there's also a house on the cover for this one. I'm covered. I probably should give you the prompts for Winterween. We'll talk about that. Anyways, Beautiful Ugly, this actually hasn't published yet. It publishes during Winterween, so that'll be like later in the week. And then I also have Bury Your Gaze, and then I have What the Woods Took, which is the same author as The Dead in the Dark, which is one of my favorite YA horrors. So I picked this up. This published at the end of last year, and I haven't gotten into it yet. So I have that one. Bury Your Gaze, if that just, you know, something strikes my fancy. And yeah, so those are the potentials. Let's talk about the actual prompts. So let's see if we actually fulfill the prompts or not. Read a book in the dark or at night. I pretty much only read at night. I will definitely fulfill that. That one's easy. Read a horror or thriller. We've established that. Read a book with a house on the cover or in the title. So we have two for that, Near the Bone and Beautiful Ugly. Read a horror book published 5 or more years ago. Oh, I think we've covered that with this one, maybe? Perfect. Jar of Hearts. Check. Love that for me. And then read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. So I guess Dark Places is my spooky audiobook. Although technically I will be listening to the audiobooks of all of these. So I guess I'm in the clear. We love when I hit all of the prompts. That very rarely happens. Go me. So that is my potential TBR for the week. We'll have to see what happens. It is currently Saturday. I do know that Gabby is doing sprints this afternoon. I think at 2 or 3 my time with Gavin and maybe, I think Jan or Katie. Some bookish friends. So I'll be hopping on those. I did hop on sprints last night and it felt so good. I haven't been on sprints in so long because normally they take place like during my workday or after I have already like zoned out for the day basically and like I'm not reading. So it's been nice to like hop on sprints. I missed everyone. So I'll hop on those later. It is about lunchtime right now, so I think I'm going to journal for a little bit in my book journal, fill in some things, eat some lunch, go for a WALK. Meaning me. She's already been on one, and my husband will take her on one later. But, like, we need a meant to be walk, and that is different than a ZITI walk, okay? 2 very different things. Wildly different experiences. So, I think I'll do that. Be nice if it was still snowing then. Us walk in the snow? I mean, we did do that this morning. I could use a MTB walk in the snow. That sounds lovely. But I want to do it after lunch, you know? It's good for digestion. So, we're going to do that, and then we'll read. And I'm excited to get more into Jar of Hearts, and I will give you a reading update a little bit later.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit. It's hard to see you when you're save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Blue too. Bad mood. Sorta witty and jaded, but let's not talk about you. Your coyote song on a rerun. Are you hound dog tired singing all night long? Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not
Of course. So they separated him from his parents. First thing, they interviewed his parents.
blue dew, blue moon. Been 1 or 2 since I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, that gets old. It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not blue. Well, that gets old. It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not blue.
There is truly nothing better than hair wash day. Let me tell you. I pushed it a day too long. I was feeling very scraggly this morning. So we're now freshly washed and like I'm just cut. With any sort of sweater, it just works. I'm freaking obsessed with this haircut so much. I'm having so much fun styling it. I've been trying different waves. This is just like a little kink curl, but I've been trying like waves too. I can't decide which one I like better. I feel like I really like them both. Anyways, I'm here to give you a reading update. I finished Jar of Hearts last night by Jennifer Hillier, and I'm gonna go ahead and give this 4 stars. I can't say I enjoyed it. That's so hard. With thriller books and horror books, it's like, I really enjoyed it. Even though it's gruesome and there's so many trigger warnings in here, I really enjoyed it. It's the same thing with like true crime podcasts. It's like, did you actually enjoy the podcast? Like, yeah, but like, did I enjoy the contents? No, it's very strange. So, I enjoyed it. ? This is the perfect example of how to do unlikable characters but still carry a plot that keeps the reader interested. I am not above unlikable characters. Sometimes I read a book and I'm like, oh my god, I really didn't like that main character, and then the plot kind of flops too. Or you have the opposite, where like you really like the characters, but unfortunately the plot flops, and that happens too. This is the prime example of like, you can continue reading even though you don't necessarily like any of the characters in the book, because the plot is carrying it and you're just so invested in finding out what happened. And while it still wasn't like completely unpredictable, it still kept me engaged the entire time. In this one we are following Geo, and Geo, now present day, is going to jail for basically keeping quiet of witnessing a murder of her best friend when they were in teenage years. She's basically stayed silent for the past, I don't know, like 15 years or so, and is now facing the consequences as they have unveiled the body of her best friend and caught the killer, etc. So she's now going away basically as like an accessory, but for covering the crime. So she is now going to jail, and you don't necessarily know what happened that night. There's a lot of talk about secrets and that kind of thing, and like, did the person that's going away for the murder actually do it? How much was Geo involved? So you're unraveling the story, and we do have the flashback chapters, which I really enjoy, but I love that we start in the present day and we kind of go back to like uncover the story as we go. I really like that format. I feel like it keeps the reader engaged, and it's not too much jumping around or you're getting confused or not understanding like who the people are. It's a very digestible. The writing is really good in here. I really enjoyed the writing. And like I said, even though the plot twists weren't necessarily like shocking to me, I actually thought there was going to be one other thing in here, and I'm still not sure there was like a complete point to, basically there's like a side kind of character relationship that Geo has in here, and I don't understand the point of it. I thought it was going to be one thing, and I was like, ooh, that's a really good twist, and it didn't end up happening, and then it just kind of fizzles out, and I'm not exactly sure the meaning behind that exactly, or why that was so like relevant to the story. It just didn't seem necessary. I'm being very vague because I don't want to give anything away. I know it's a backlist, but not everyone has read it, so I don't want to give anything away. But there was one thing where I was like, what was the point of that? I thought it was going to be a bigger moment than it was, and it wasn't. The rest of it, I really like. It kept me engaged the entire time despite not being overly shocking. And the ending is completely, I want to say, like, satisfying but unsatisfying, but I really enjoyed that. I feel like this is the type of story where not everything can wrap up in a pretty bow. There are a lot of trigger warnings in here, so I would suggest looking them up. Things like abuse, SA, unaliving, things along those lines. There's a lot of it in here, like, I mean a lot of it. If you've read a Jennifer Hillier before, you know, she really goes there. She doesn't hold back. And this book, like, literally kicks off. The first couple chapters, I was like, oh, shoot, no, we're going there. We're going there. So I feel like those aspects were really well done and, like, well thought out. And I like the overarching theme. I also love how the title weaves back into the book. I think that was really clever and just really heartbreaking at the same time. So I thought that was really well done. So overall, 4 stars. It wasn't a complete 5-star because it didn't completely shock me, and I do think there were a little like some minor plot holes that I just don't feel were like necessary, but overall a solid thriller. I would say it's definitely more, it's not like thrillery though. I think it's definitely more like that literary thriller than like shocking thriller. So just know that going into it, and I think that will set your expectations. So finish that, and now I don't know what to read next. I could read Near the Bone next, or Beautiful Ugly came out today. I have a feeling I'm gonna go for Beautiful Ugly. Like, I just read a backlist. I feel like I need a new thriller, and then I can go back to Near the Bone. Beautiful Ugly is also, like, I mean, the good thing about thrillers is they're not that long, so I should be able to finish both of them by the end of the week and, like, include them both in this vlog. I think that's what I'm feeling in terms of of TBR for the rest of the week. I'm looking over there because my TBR shelf is over there. Yeah, I'm thinking Beautiful Ugly next, and then we'll go to Near the Bone, just to like mix it up a little bit with like a new release versus a older release. It's currently Tuesday, if I didn't say that, and I typically have meetings on Tuesdays, but my boss is traveling this week. She's at an event, so I don't have any meetings today, which is exciting. I have a lot to do, and I want to be very productive, so I think I'm gonna head to the library. It's my favorite place to be productive. I also am in desperate need of a coffee because I ran out of creamer yesterday, and I have cold brew in the fridge, but I don't have any creamer, so I think we're gonna stop and get a little Starbs on the way. That sounds delicious. I'm packing up my computer now. Already have breakfast. Bring your hard drive, Kyla. You need that. And yeah, we're gonna go to the library and get some like good focused work done. And then I'll stop and get creamer on the way home so that I have coffee for the rest of the week. I try to only go out like once a week and get coffee. And we went out for bagels the other morning, but I didn't get coffee because the place, it's very strange. Very strange. This place has the best bagels, right? They're so good. Best bagel sandwiches, best bagels and cream cheese. They're delicious. Their coffee sucks. It's terrible. So I was like, I'm just gonna get a bagel and I'll make my coffee at home. So I deserve I actually might even have some money in my Starbucks app. Because that's like free money, right? Like even though I've loaded it before, it's girl math, it's free money. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that. Is it enough to get a coffee? Probably not, but that's okay. I have cash. Okay, let's go to Starbs and get a coffee. Even though it's freezing outside, I still will be getting a cold brew because that's just how I roll. So excited today. It's currently Thursday, by the way. Or I should say tonight. Tonight, I'm going to a paint your own pottery Gilmore themed. I don't even know what to call it. There was supposed to be like a trivia night and you paint your own like pottery that's Gilmore Girls themed. However, so Brandon's best friend got this as like a gift for his fiance, who I'm also very good friends with, and he was like, you know, let's all go together. Brandon has zero interest in going, obviously. He is not like a Gilmore Girls stan, and like painting pottery, that's just not his thing. So I was planning on going with them, and then we have another couple that's going. Basically, I'm fifth wheeling it, which like I'm totally fine with because I love Gilmore Girls, but turns out it's literally only going to be the 5 of us. So I don't know if we're going to end up doing like trivia against each other. Regardless, we're going to go and paint some pottery. I'm assuming that means they have like pre-done pieces and then you just paint it. I'm assuming they have like stencils and that kind of thing that you could put on like a mug or whatever you want to do. So I'm stoked. This is going to be hilarious if it's truly just the 5 of us, and either we're just gonna go there and paint or we're going to do trivia against each other, which is really interesting. I'm actually so bad at trivia. Like I can watch a show 1,000 times and still like forget the characters' names or whatever. At this point, I have watched Gilmore Girls, like I watched it as it was on TV. Yes, I'm that old, but I've also rewatched it like almost every year, so like it should be ingrained in my brain. However, sometimes things just don't stick, so we'll see how that goes. Regardless, I did wear my Stars Hollow sweatshirt today, and there's just something about a turtleneck under a sweatshirt We just love it. I also have a cute little hair bow in today. We're just going with the theme. I probably will be the only one going with the theme, but I'm okay with that. That's fine. I am also dragging ass today. I am in my luteal phase, which means I'm tired and I am having like such a hard time focusing. I've actually gone balls to the wall this entire week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I've literally been staring at a screen all day long, creating graphics. We're in like a push because we're getting out a supplement line, which is really exciting, but like the level of creating I've had to do, my brain today has completely shut down. Completely shut down. So that should be fun on top of trivia as well. Like, is it even in there right now? I'm not sure. I'm also like 3/4 of the way through a cold brew and I feel like it's doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyways, I have some book mail, which I thought I would open with you and also give you an update on my reading. I am like 3/4 of the way through Beautiful Ugly. I only have like 100 pages left, maybe, I think even less than that at this point, less than 100 pages, and I am enjoying it. It's not anything groundbreaking so far in the name of thrillers. I do feel like it is a pretty basic concept, one that I have read from before, but there is no doubt that Alice Feeney has stepped up her writing game. This book is beautifully written. And I mean, I don't know if I'm like a really good judge of that at all, but I feel like this is her best written book so far. The writing is really good, and this atmosphere is incredible. We're on like a Scottish island, and it is just perfect. I love it. Also, the audiobook, so good. There are sound effects. At the beginning, the wife like calls the husband on the cell phone, and it's even like a little crackly, and it sounds like a cell phone, like it's pulled back really far and it sounds like a cell phone. It's amazing. Then there's also like water noises in between the flipping of perspectives. So we do get chapters from the husband and then chapters from the wife, and when it flips perspective, you get this like sound effect, which I really enjoy because then it kind of prepares your mind for like, oh, you're gonna hear from someone else now, as opposed to just going right into it, and I really am liking that. There was a hot second there that I thought this was going to be a paranormal thriller. Like at the beginning, I was like, oh no, is this gonna go into paranormal? And it still very well could. I am trying to, hold on, let me open this box first. I am trying to like not, I don't want to say I'm not paying attention to the book. Obviously I'm paying attention to it, but I'm trying not to like figure things out and just let it come. I feel like I need to do that with thrillers these days instead of playing detective. I just need to like let it come in waves. Obviously, like I'm thinking things as the book goes on, but I'm trying not to overthink it and again, just try to like basically play Clue. I'm just like, okay, that could be something. It could go this way, but I'm not going to think about that too hard and just let it wash over me when it comes. Sometimes I am right in like my predictions, and sometimes things catch you off guard. Most of the time, I'm not overly surprised, even if I don't predict a twist. Most of the time they don't shock me, so that's my issue with thrillers, which like they can still be fun even if that happens. I have a few, I said that I wasn't overthinking, I do have a few theories, especially now that I'm like less than 100 pages out. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. I have like 3 things in mind that I wouldn't be surprised if they happened. Like, not in the slightest. I should be able to finish it today, but I'm not gonna like, this is my thing this year, is I'm not putting pressure on myself to finish a book in a certain amount of time. Like, I finish it when I finish it. I'm not busting my ass to read as fast as possible. I'm just reading when I read. Anyways, I did say book mail and I haven't even opened it yet, but I got the next in the Wayward Children series, A Drifting Currents, Clean and Clear. So excited. This is on my TBR for this month. I would love to be reading this like immediately. Well, I'm gonna go try to get some work done with my scattered brain. I feel like you can tell by this clip how all over the place my brain is right now. Maybe I should brush up on some Gilmore trivia. And then we will go to paint some pottery, which I will try to take some clips at. However, I am going with friends who are not chronically online like me, so I'm not gonna like film them or whatever, but I'll try to get some clips of like what we're doing and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm very excited. It should be an interesting but a really fun time. Since I have updated this vlog, I have some reading updates. Like I said, it's been a couple of days. So we did go to pottery. That was fun and an interesting time. The woman that hosted it, she was like, I'm gonna be real upfront with you. I don't know a thing about Gilmore Girls. And we were like, what? She was like, I think I've seen maybe an episode. I just know it's really popular. And I was like, fair enough. Fair enough. Get your bag, girl. Get your bag. And it was fun. You got to like pick a piece. She had like plates, mugs, planters of various different things that were all just like blank. And then she had a bunch of stencils, so you could like pick out the stencil, or you could ask her to draw something, because she's an artist, obviously. So, but we just picked out from the stencils and then painted them, and they're getting fired this week, so we should have it. This is going to be a total Instagram versus reality moment for me. I'm not good at this crafty stuff, guys. I'm really not. Like, my creativity showcases itself in other ways, not necessarily this. I know what I wanted it to look like. I know it's not gonna end up looking like that. It's gonna end up looking like 5-year-old did it, and it's fine. It's fine. I tried to go with like a classic, as you saw, like from the little clips, like a classic Luke's mug, but my letters were definitely like off in the Luke's logo a little bit, and anyways, we'll have to see what it comes out with. Went with classic red and yellow, because I already have a blue mug. We'll just have to see. But it was fun. It was like fun to go, and I'm excited to get back and have a laugh. Honestly, all of us were not like super good at it, other than our one friend Allison, who's like unreal. Unreal. She like hand drew hers, and I was like, could never be me. Could never be me. So did that. Went to Pilates on Saturday. That was really good. And then honestly, I've just been lounging, reading. I went to go see my parents yesterday, brought them a loaf of sourdough. I'm filling out like a health questionnaire thing, and I had to like get some family medical history like info from them. So I asked some of those questions, and here we are. It is Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day. It is the last day that I am filming for this vlog, and then I'm finishing up the edit. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get it out tomorrow, but I have some things to update you on because I've been reading some things, finishing some things, so we need to talk about it. First, I finished A Beautiful Ugly, and I'm giving this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I was teetering on the edge there for a minute. I was like, is this going to be a 3 or 4? Like, I'm enjoying myself. The atmosphere is really good. In this one, we are following Grady, I believe is his name. Yeah, Grady Green. Grady Green, what a name. And his wife calls him while she's on the way home, and he is like itching to share this like super exciting news with her. He's a writer. I don't want to like spoil anything, but he has some really exciting news, and he like cannot wait to share it with her. And she calls when she's on her way home from work, and all of a sudden he hears like brakes screeching and all that, and he's like, hello, 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 and she's like, oh my god, there's a woman like laying down in the middle of the road, and I'm gonna get out and see what's going on. And he's like, no, don't get out of the car, don't get out of the car. And she's like, hello, there's a woman lying in the middle of the road. Of course I'm gonna get out of the car and check and see if she's okay. And and then she disappears. And then we are following his journey as like I said, he's a writer. He's having trouble writing. He's supposed to produce all of these novels, so he gets sent away essentially to like a secluded island and is like forced to write, and or else he has to like give back all of these advances, and the story takes off from there. That's really all you need to know going into it. There's obviously so much more for that, but the atmosphere is incredible. If there's anything Alice Feeney knows how to do, it is atmosphere, especially island atmosphere, because I loved Daisy Darker. That's like my favorite from her, and this is not similar by plot by any means, but like in atmosphere, just so good. She just does the island vibe so well. This is set in the UK but also in Scotland, like the island in Scotland, and oh my god, just the scenery, you can like picture it perfectly, and I want to go to this island. I want to go to it. So she just knows how to do it. This is also the perfect example, again, of unlikable characters, but like the plot's driving it, so you want to keep reading, and it's completely okay that you don't like any of the characters. I feel like this was the theme of this Winterween. I did not mean it to be that, but I feel like that's the theme, because kind of same thing with this one is like you have all of these unlikable characters and the plot is what's driving the book, which, look, I'm here for it to a certain degree. I was teetering on the edge whether or not I was going to give this a 3 or a 4 because I was enjoying myself, and then I got to like 3/4 of the way through and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this to like start wrapping up. Like, I get it, I get where we are, I get what's happening. Not in like I know exactly what's happening, but I have my theories, I have my predictions, etc. I'm ready to have my truths be told to me, and we took a little bit to get there. There was like a good like 50 pages where I'm like, okay, all right, let's get there. But then we get the ending, and the ending of this book, I am not gonna say anything that's gonna give it away, but yes, just yes. And it's exactly the kind of ending I would want from a book like this, so it bumped up my rating. I was like, you know what, I have to give it 4 stars. It's so well written. I think this is Alice Feeney's best written book so far, in my personal opinion. So well written, the plot drives you. While you do have these unlikable characters, you still want to keep reading and figure it out. And like, yes, we did have a little bit of a lull, which was why it can't be 5 stars, but that ending, ooh, it bumped it up, and I'm so here for it. There's actually like a huge quote at the end of this that I was like, yes, like kicking my feet. So I really overall enjoyed it. Also a little bit of mixed media in here because we do get some newspaper articles as well. So like written mixed media, you can't really tell the difference of them reading like the newspaper article in the audiobook, but in the book itself, you get these newspaper articles, which I really enjoy. So overall, really enjoyed it. Gonna give it 4 stars. And then we have Near the Bone by Christina Henry. And look, I am struggling with my rating for this one. And I did say I wasn't gonna like force myself to rate a book right away or get my thoughts out right away if I didn't exactly know how I felt. And that's kind of how I feel with this one. I overall enjoyed it. It is a completely unsettling, uncomfortable, anxiety-ridden isolation story. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. This book is heartbreaking. We deal with a bit of Stockholm syndrome, and really hard to like read those parts of it, but also really like makes you connect with the main character that much more and like really feel with what she's going through. This also is a horror, so there's a bit of like creature in the woods element, which just adds to like the anxiety level of everything that is going on. This was extremely well written. Again, I feel like, this was written, it's a backlist, so I think it was 2018 that this was written, so I definitely feel like it was ahead of its time, or maybe just like right on par. It definitely captures that like really unsettling creep factor. I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'm not like, am I going to remember it? Yeah. But like, is it an all-time favorite? No. Is it something that I would want to read again? No. Did I have like a good time? I mean, good time being like quote unquote good time, I guess. The ending was a little bit unsatisfactory to me. I feel like I wanted a little bit less of like, again, this has like 3/4 of the way through problem, where like I'm ready for things to like wrap up, but then I want like beyond, and this kind of just cuts off, and I would have liked to see a little bit, even just like an epilogue of like the after for her, and like, you know, as a character and that kind of thing. I don't know what I want to rate it. I feel like my gut is telling me to rate it 3 stars, but at the same time, like, it is so creepy, it is so unsettling, and it is gonna stick in my mind, so maybe it's a 4 star, maybe it's a 3.5, maybe it's a 3.75. I don't know. So I'm gonna sit on it for a while and decide. Like I said, I'm gonna mark it as read, but I'm gonna hold off on my rating, and maybe it will come to me in like my wrap up, and you'll have to see what I decide to rate it. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I don't feel like I need to give you any sort of synopsis for this other than what I've already said, because I feel like that is all you need to know going into it. There's also like the horror element, like I mentioned, and I feel like that was a little unsatisfactory to me as well. So I'm probably gonna land on like a 3.5, but honestly, I'm not gonna rate it right now. Overall, I enjoyed it. So that is the end of my reading for this vlog. I am feeling ready to read some fantasy again. Which is perfect timing because a certain 3rd book in a series comes out this week. My copy set's gonna be here Thursday or Friday, so I'm basically gonna have to stay offline until I get it, and then me and my friends are reading it for like our book club, so I'm gonna have to stay offline for a couple days there so I don't get spoiled. I mean, I would hope that people wouldn't be spoiling it already, but I don't even want to see people's reactions. I just want to be in my own element. I've talked about this before. This has nothing to do with this vlog, but like, it's a hate to love with the Empyrean series. Like, I hate it, but I also love it. So that's what I'll be looking forward to. But I'm ready to get back into some fantasy. Anyways, that is all of the reading for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed coming along and hanging out with me this week. If you have read these, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, especially Beautiful Ugly. I would love to know your thoughts and feelings, as it is a new release, and I really enjoyed going back to like some backlist titles. I definitely need to be doing that more this year. I'm not just reading all of the new releases, really making an effort to go back and read the backlists on my TBR, because my TBR is long and I need to go back and start reading some backlist titles. So that is a goal for this year. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe if you are not ready. Turn the bell so you never miss a video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
With you and I, the future